What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited for this video because I get into some warm calls, some cold calls, talking to a whole bunch of fun people. Make sure you check this out. You're gonna see how I have these conversations and close deals. There's somebody that completely freaks out on me, and there's also somebody that I flip from saying absolutely not to hey, this is probably a good idea. So lots of good stuff in this video. Make sure you stick around all the way to the end. Check it out. Let's do it. All right, welcome to a little cold call sesh or call sesh, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be calling some leads that we have already sent offers on, some warm leads, some cold leads, everything in between, so you guys can see how I overcome objections, have these conversations. It's Friday at 2:30, so we'll see how many people pick up, but let's get after it. This first one is an offer that's going into foreclosure. We've already sent the offer in. They said they weren't going to accept the offer that we came up with. We asked for a counter offer. Instead, they said that they wanted to just keep waiting and trying to sell it on market. Meanwhile, the property is about to get foreclosed on. So we need them to sell. Hopefully they realize that. Let's see if they answer. She did not. She said, please text me. So, since she texted back, I'm not going to double dial her. I'm just going to leave her a message and get back to her. And then this other lead that I'm calling right now is a lead where they said that they had a bunch of other offers that they were going to take, which sometimes people just say as a smokescreen. We never really know.
Hello?
Hi Ruth, this is Ryan. How are you?
Good. What, the giraffe?
This is Ryan.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Fantastic. I'm calling about Crooked Creek. Just wanted to see if you guys had accepted an offer, or if you still wanted to talk about it.
Oh, I thought you were someone else. Yes, we did accept an offer.
Perfect. Does everything look good to go? They got EMD in and they're set to close?
We got the EDN and due diligence is over on Monday.
Okay, awesome. Well, if anything changes with that, feel free to reach back out. I definitely want to keep in touch on this one because we're very interested.
Okay, I will too.
Appreciate it, Ruth. Have a good day.
You too, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that one, we kind of already knew that there was probably going to be another offer on it. I've been talking to them for a while, so I didn't push too hard. Sometimes I'll kind of push harder on like the terms of the offer. Jerry Norton talks about, basically asking them what the terms of their offer are, and then you can kind of one-up it or use the scorch method where you talk about how they're probably just trying to wholesale the deal and try and get into it that way. Likely that might be what's happening here. So she said the due diligence, the inspection period ends on Monday, so I'm definitely going to be following back up on Monday, see what they have to say. But let's switch over to some other ones here. Let's see. So these leads now are all in Florida. Asking $465, they owe $420. Come on, phone.
Hello, this is James.
Hey James, this is Ryan. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Not bad. We talked yesterday about 624 Pearl.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check in with you. I talked with our underwriter last night, ran through some numbers on this one. We were looking pretty tight on the conventional offer to be able to do a rental with it. Looked at cash as well. Cash didn't make sense. It doesn't need really a lot of work, you know.
No.
And so cash wouldn't make sense for us because we'd be going and getting a hard money loan, and we'd have to buy it at enough of a discount to make that work. But the conventional loan, it was looking like it was going to be right at about 415, which I know is pretty well below what they're looking at. So I'm assuming that wouldn't work, right?
No, I think probably maybe a 450, maybe a 445. That's about as low as they're going to go. They still have a pretty big mortgage to pay off themselves on it.
Got it. Okay, so their low point is pretty much going to be like they got to just get the mortgage paid off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to walk away with something if they can, but mostly they want to get the mortgage paid off.
Yeah, of course. Ideal scenarios. And you said that they're in a pretty quick time frame here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What if we did something where we came in and paid the commission and paid them and then just took over the mortgage? Have you talked to them about something like that?
Yeah, we're not going to do a subject to. I've offered a couple of folks to post just about those. Not interested in that. It's just a straight up sale.
Yeah. What's the I guess if I could craft something better between the conventional and something like a subject to, what was the hold up with the subject to?
They're just not going to. Look, I don't really want to waste my time going in circles. If you want to put together an offer, man, put it together and email it to me. But it's going to need to be just an offer. They want to sell the house. That's it. They don't want to do anything creative, anything different, anything out of the ordinary. I appreciate what you're doing, trying to do your job. I get it, but they just want to sell the house. That's it. So if you want to do an offer, just put one together, whatever the conditions are, put it together, send it to me. I'll send it over to them, and we'll take it from there. Okay, man? Have a good day. Bye-bye.
And there he goes. So that was a great conversation. He was actually a really friendly guy yesterday and at the beginning of that phone call. So clearly they've had this conversation before. It's also Friday afternoon, like I said, so not necessarily a time that a lot of people want to be on the phone. The reality of their situation is that they do need to sell their house pretty quickly. I talked to him for a while yesterday about it. If he hadn't freaked out right there, I would have just asked what their options were, because they haven't been getting any offers at the price they have it listed at. It's over list price, or over ARV, so they're not getting offers up there, and they are, at this point, like he said, super foggy there. At this point, they are just trying to figure out how they can at least break even or maybe make a little bit of money. So this is something that we keep in our follow-ups. I'm going to give him a call again next week. There's no reason to get frustrated about him hanging up. Obviously, he's probably just frustrated because he feels like he's wasting his time. He's not wasting his time because we might be able to get their house sold for them. So that's a follow-up, and we'll see what happens there. Let's jump to the next one.
You have reached the office of Maria.
Double dial, of course.
You have reached the office of Maria LeBron.
All right, nothing from Maria today. Let's jump to this one right here, which this lead, let's see if I can get the notes on it. Okay, so this lead, they actually specifically said, pull up the other notes, that they had talked about sub 2, and the reason they weren't going to do sub 2 is that it was a divorce situation. They needed to get both of their names off of the mortgage. If you guys have ever made phone calls like this, you've probably had a conversation like that. It comes up all the time, and what we've learned is one of the best ways to combat that, overcome it, whatever you want to call it, is by just giving them a story of another example where you've done that. So in our case, since we do a lot of subject to deals, it's really easy for me to pull from other experiences, other deals that we've closed on that look the exact same. A lot of times when people are behind and getting divorced, it's a subject to situation. That's just how it works out. So I have a lot of stories that I can tell about, hey, there was this time last month, a couple months ago, where we had a very similar situation and this is what we did. And that just helps them know that they're not some, everybody thinks they're in a super unique situation. Like, this is the only one that's ever happened. And so we just let them know, hey, we've had the same thing happen before. This is how we dealt with it. If we were able to do that with you guys, would that be solving the problem? And some people say, like the other dude, get upset. But some people are like, hey, this might actually be something. Let's talk about it a little more. So we'll see what they say. Don't want it tied to their name is what they said. So let's give them a call.
Hey, this is Svetlana.
Hi, Svetlana. This is Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Ryan. How are you?
Fantastic. You talked to my partner Isaiah yesterday about your listing on Bay Grove.
Yes, correct.
And I'm the underwriter, so I was calling you back. We had been running some numbers this morning on it, trying to look and see if we couldn't get an offer in, and I just wanted to check in, give you some feedback and see where things stood.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I had a conversation with him, and I think you guys wanted to do subject to, but they just really want both of their names off of it because they're going through a divorce.
Yeah, 100%. Sub 2.
I get it.
Yeah, no. Sub 2 is kind of the fallback, to be totally honest with you. I prefer to do it in a method that's conventional, just to make it more clean. Okay. So what we were looking at here for the conventional offer was going to be about $340 to cash flow it as a rental. Do you know if that would work?
No, they have an offer for $350 from a different investor, and they already did a pre-inspection, and it was no inspection. So they just can't take it because, I mean, they're completely transparent at this point because they don't want to, I guess, here's a situation.
Yeah.
There's a commission on both sides. I'm willing to go down to 1%. If the other side would go down to 1%, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Like, just to get them out of the house, and they purchased it for $375. Their mortgage is at $355 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So you're just saying, like, if they took the $350, basically they would end up having to pay like 10-15 grand.
They would still, but the other company just came back saying that they would go down on the commission and go up to $353.
Okay.
So,
but they'd still be pretty negative, right?
Yeah, they would still have about
10 grand.
10 grand. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, if you guys could beat that, I know I'm not supposed to tell you, but that's what's going on, and I'm trying to do the best. It's in the best interest of the seller at this point.
100%. No, I mean,
and they're friends of ours, so.
Yeah, when it comes to those things, like, I would give them $400 if I could, but the reality is we're using, we bring in investor money for these things, and if we paid that much, we would be losing a considerable amount each month, conventionally. Now, we do them subject to, like you said, that's not going to work for them. That's the only way that we would be able to come in and pay that higher amount, because, at the rate that we're getting, it's just, I can play with the numbers as much as I can. There's nothing I can really do with that without just changing up the type of offer.
Right.
But what I can tell you, and I know you already said that it wouldn't make sense, so I totally understand, but we did just close on a subject to with a couple that was getting divorced on Monday, literally 4 days ago.
Okay.
And so if they wanted, this is no, like, not putting an offer in, no pressure, anything like that, but I can get on the phone with you guys and just talk you through what that transaction looked like, because I know the only thing worse than, these options where they're losing money is having no options at all. And so I'd rather at least, if I can be helpful in that sense, just because we do a lot of subject to transactions for divorced couples like this, because the reality is this situation comes as a result of kind of that scenario, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we run into it a lot. And we have been able to get a lot of people out of that stuff. And so if they wanted to set something up or get on the phone, or if you want to talk more about it, I'm happy to. I don't want to force it down their throat. I just want to be a resource, because that's what I do.
Okay, I'm going to ask them, and then maybe I can exchange your information. Is this your personal cell?
This is my personal cell phone, yeah. So we can, there's a couple things that I do. The easiest thing that we can do for a conversation like that is like a conference call, because then obviously you're there. We want you to be there to be their realtor, and help them kind of work through questions, but we're also just all together, like, so that we're not playing, phone tag or email tag or anything like that.
Right. Does it matter if it's an FHA loan?
No, it doesn't. We do FHA loans all the time. It's not a problem. We can take that loan over. the framework, I don't know who you've spoken to about this. I know there's a lot of people that make these kinds of calls that don't actually do these deals every week. But the framework in general would be that we would be paying your commission and paying closing costs. We should be able to pay over 1% commission to you, since we'll be handling out of our side and not theirs. And we're not going to be paying them, 10 grand, but we'll get them some money. It'll be a positive number, that I can guarantee. We don't pay anybody. We never have people come to the table with money in a subject to transaction, because this allows us to avoid that and find a win-win.
Okay. Would it trigger a due on sale clause?
No. So the due on sale clause, happy to talk about that now, and also with them, like I said, the due on sale clause is kind of what we would look at as like the boogie monster, or the boogeyman, however that's supposed to go. It is something that can get called. It's something that happens. We've done a couple hundred transactions like this. We've never had a deal where we had to pay the due on sale clause or that mortgage back, but we do have deals where the due on sale clause gets called. It's just that it's not as big of a deal as people think. So if it gets called, just so you know, the process we take is the first thing we do is we just call the bank and say, hey, this is the situation. These guys were going to, they were in a tough spot. They were going to lose money. We bought their house subject to. We make the payments on the first of every single month. Everything's good to go. And sometimes when a bank sees that, they'll say, oh, okay, that's great. It's better than us not getting the payments made, having to go into foreclosure, whatever. We're good to go. That happens sometimes, not most of the time. Most of the time what we do is, and you'll see it in the contract, we would actually just deed the property back and do what's called an executory contract. And it's basically the exact same type of sale, except for that it satisfies the terms of the due on sale clause so that it doesn't get called. And that works well too. The only thing with that is that it just takes a little bit more time. Otherwise we would do it up front. But for the sake of timing and getting this done properly, we don't do that unless it gets called. We've had 7 called out of a couple hundred, so it's one of those things that's like, if it comes up for us, it's a paperwork thing, to be totally honest with you. It's not a big deal, but it is something that's real. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't happen.
Yeah. This is the month of December is the first month that they are going to miss a mortgage payment, I think, because it's due by the 16th. Which is tomorrow, and they haven't paid it. Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to affect the way you look at this.
No, it won't. Well, I shouldn't say it won't. It will, but we can figure it out, is my answer. The thing about the creative deals is we can get that figured out. We're going to be able to pay you commission. We're going to be able to get them caught up. To be totally honest with you, I'll probably give them, if we were able to do this, maybe a couple $100. It's not going to be like a Christmas miracle, but it'll be a little something. And then we would catch up the arrears, and especially like now that they're going to be behind, obviously time is of the essence, of course. And once they get behind, when you do a subject to transaction and you're behind like that, when we take it over, not only do we catch it up, but you now get our company that has hundreds of these rentals that services that house, and we take that house and their credit gets rebuilt because their mortgage that was being missed, that's it's not going to be good when that gets missed for the credit. But when they then see 6 months, 12 months, 2 years straight of payments being made on or before the first of the month every month from the servicer, that's a huge boost. It can be a huge benefit.
Okay, well, me as an agent, if anything was to go south, say 4 years from now, they're going to call me and say, hey, why did you tell us to take this offer? Like, what if does this mortgage go back to them? If you guys were just like completely stop paying it, something happens drastic in the world, world war, whatever, and just everybody goes whatever, and you guys stop paying, like that would completely destroy their credit, or they would have to take over and start paying.
Right, yeah, so...
Worst case scenario.
I love worst case scenarios. Worst case scenarios are good, because we might as well handle those, and then...
That's where everybody's brain goes, yeah.
And then assume that nothing else could get any worse, right? Yeah, so worst case scenario, World War, the one I like to use is if we all get abducted by aliens, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this is what happens.
Then it won't matter anyways, but...
Exactly. Well, it depends if we all get abducted or just me, I guess, or our company.
Yes.
But no, yeah, this is what happens. So we would put something in place where they could get the house back should they choose. It is a worst case scenario, and let me tell you what that would look like. So for example, we buy this house. If we, miracle, let's say we go under contract today and we close mid-January or something like that. So there's probably going to be, at this point, likely 2 missed payments, right? So we're going to come in, we're going to catch those payments up. That's going to be somewhere around $5,000-ish, maybe $6,000 for those missed payments. We're going to come into this house. We're probably going to do some cosmetic stuff, paint some rooms, whatever, get it fixed up for the rental. And then we're going to furnish it, which is a good amount of money, probably $20,000 to $30,000, something like that. Do the landscaping, all the fun investor stuff. So let's say all in, after catching up the payments and all that, it's probably $50,000, something like that. So in our best interest, obviously, we're not going to be missing a payment anytime soon, right? Payment's like $2,500 maybe to guess on this one, and we're going to be in $50,000. So obviously, at that point, it makes no sense to not make a payment to protect all this money we've put in. Now, down the road, like you said, let's say 4 years from now. Well, 4 years from now, they're probably getting an average of $5,000 to $10,000 paid down a year by us for making the payments, right? Just principal pay down on the loan. They've got the $50,000 that went into the house, and then obviously this is speculation, but on average, if the house goes up 3 to 5% in value a year, then 4 years from now, if they were to get this house back, they could sell it at a discount and make $100,000. So is it an ideal scenario? Absolutely not. Definitely not. But this is a worst case scenario, right? And I would say in a world of worst case scenarios, if I was to get a house back and make $100,000 overnight, or maybe not quite overnight, but you know what I mean, there could be worse problems, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Assuming, home values go up, but nobody knows what's going to happen in 4 years.
Which is totally valid. But even let's say they don't, right? Let's say everything goes wrong. They'd be saved from potentially foreclosure, or at least all the arrears that they would have, right? Because that's factually going to be paid off when we close. And they could come into the house and sell $25,000 worth of furniture, and then go sell the house. So yeah, I mean the scenarios are there. You're absolutely right. Especially in a case like this where, again, I don't want to push on it, but once payments start to get missed, it's hard to see, a worst case scenario that could be worse than losing the house. And so being able to catch that up, get everything paid off, and get it sold, get that peace of mind is probably going to be, a good first step.
Okay. Well, I mean, they should be open to a conversation, but like I said, they've had multiple offers like this before. They declined the first one for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting presented again.
Yeah, I mean, what I would tell you is that there's a lot of people that make these calls, and like you said, you've had offers presented. If you've noticed, I haven't presented an offer yet. That's because we don't know the full situation yet, and we don't know that everybody's on the same page. And people that are coming out and making these offers just to try and make some money are not.
They're usually very high. They're like, "Oh, we'll pay $400,000."
Yeah, because they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, we do a lot of these transactions, so we don't make offers. We don't make blind offers on something like this. For example, if I was to have come in and made an offer to you right now, and then you were to come back and say, "Well, did you know that they missed a payment?" then my offer is invalid, right? I didn't know that there was money on the table. So we do that front end, and we don't even make an offer until we've had a conversation with the sellers to make sure that this is actually going to solve their problem. And maybe it does. Maybe we have this conversation and they're like, oh, I wish somebody had taken the time to actually explain this fully, that had experience, and not just reading bullet points off a YouTube video or something beforehand. Because once we present this to them, again, the way I like to look at it is we're not making an offer. We're not presenting something to them or pressuring them. I'm just here to explain how it works. It's literally my job. That's what I do. And then, maybe 3-4 weeks from now, we can have another conversation when, Lord willing, they get it sold. But if not, hey, another payment's been missed. Let's talk. What can we do? How can we be helpful?
Yeah, I understand. Will they be able to purchase another property with an FHA loan? Obviously not, because you can only hold one.
Yeah, no, they can. So here's what I'll say. I'm not a lender. I'm not a loan officer, so I can't give you an exact answer for this. But again, we do have a lot of experience working with sellers on this stuff. So first off, once they start missing payments, it's going to be tough for them to buy a new house for a little bit. We're going to have to get that credit repaired, and then obviously you're going to have to work with a loan officer that's going to be able to kind of jump that hurdle, right? So that's the first step. Generally speaking, anytime someone sells a house sub 2, the easiest possible approach is going to be to wait at least a year. What that does is it's going to allow their credit to get repaired. It's also going to allow us to make payments, and then they can show proof that somebody else makes the payments so that their debt to income gets canceled out and they can go buy another house. I can't, of course, make guarantees because I'm not a loan officer and I don't know what the situation is going to look like as far as, what their income looks like, how badly it's going to affect them depending on how many payments get missed, all of that stuff. But I guess the way I like to look at it is that the sub 2 will not be the reason they can't go buy another house. The reason they couldn't go buy another house would be external. It would be either their income or, their credit or something not involved with this.
Okay. All right. I guess they could obviously discuss this with their loan officer that they took the loan out with initially and see how it would affect them in the future.
Yeah, they can.
Because he knows the situation. So, okay, well, I'll chat with them and I'll save this number. What did you say your name was? I missed it.
My name's Ryan.
Ryan.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll be in contact with you.
Okay, sounds great. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm not, we're not in any rush. We just recognize kind of the scenario that we're in. We've seen it before, and so we want to be able to answer questions as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great phone call. So, not quite a cold lead. So for people that are like, I've never seen those leads. This was a cold lead yesterday. So first contact with this person was yesterday on the phone call. I wish I had it recorded, but on the phone call with Isaiah, who I believe was making his first on-market phone calls for Subject 2 at the Jacksonville Power Hour that we host. Made this phone call and she brought up Sub 2. Realtors do it all the time. I've said this on videos before. People are like, this is such a foreign concept. Well, not anymore, because everybody calls about it because it's the situation we're in. So somebody had already brought up Sub 2, and I was just listening. I heard from the other table, I heard her say they can't do Subject 2 because they're getting divorced. And I walked right over there, and I wrote down on a piece of paper, and I said, we have a situation that we have already done the same thing that we can explain to her. That being said, we did not call her that day because I'm not trying to bombard her. I wasn't trying to jump in on that phone conversation. I wanted to just let the conversation finish and then pick up with a new one. So check out that phone call, rewind this, watch the phone call again because you heard me talking to her about what was going on. You noticed a little bit of like the scorch method, right? Where I'm talking about all these other dummies that are just making offers, have no idea what's going on. I guarantee you, because it sounded like I worked it out of her, that nobody had ever asked about the arrears. What was going on there? Is there extra money involved? She even volunteered for her commission to go down to 1%. Prime. So we have a lot of good information from this phone call. This could be a great deal, but it is going to take some time. Obviously, they're pretty close-minded to it. The reason they're close-minded to it is because of you knuckleheads that are making phone calls that don't know what the heck is going on and are just watching a YouTube video and then going out and calling everybody and making stupid offers. But that's okay because we can overcome those. You just heard from me actually talking to her, understanding the situation. I had a 20-minute phone call with her, even though she shut me down in the first 10 seconds, I think, of the phone call. She literally picked up and said, yeah, you guys were trying to offer sub 2. That's not going to work. Notice 20 minutes later, I was still on the phone with her, breaking through those barriers, setting up a follow-up phone call with the seller. So hopefully that was super helpful. Let's see what else I can do here. I think I might have some cold calls that I can make. The other person we called was in a meeting, apparently. Here's a good one. Let's see. Okay, so this is a possible JV deal that they need help closing. Here we go. Hopefully this is the right number.
Hello, this is Jordan.
Jordan, what's up, man? This is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, How's it going?
Not bad, dude. Sorry I missed you. I was on another line.
It's all good. Yeah, man. I just got off the phone with the agent, and I was getting help from Nick that reached out. I just got off the phone with both of them, but I think we're gonna get a contract sent over.
Heck yeah, dude.
So
cool. So, do you need help with anything, or are you all set, good to go?
I don't know yet, man. I think we're working the best we can with. What other markets are you in? Are you just in Colorado?
Dude, so I live in Florida. I work all over the nation. We close a ton of deals in Colorado. Two of the guys on my team live in Denver. So we've probably done, 7 or 8 deals in Denver and Colorado Springs in the last couple months. So we've got multiple title agencies there that we work on all different types of loans. We've got some unicorn agents there. Anything we can do to be helpful. And we also, we can close more deals there because we've closed other deals there. So we kind of, we have stories that we can tell to agents that help out a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. And this is just one that I've been working on. I've mainly just been reaching out direct to agent. But because I want to get a couple of those before I start spending anything on marketing.
Heck yeah, dude.
But yeah, dude. I have a few other ones that I'm gonna follow up with today, and I'll give you a call when I get close, because I don't want to mess up my first couple deals. I want to partner with somebody that is experienced.
Yeah. Let me give you something real quick on that. First of all, anything we can do to be helpful, let me know. Reach out, send me a text, ask questions. It's what we do. So happy to help. But keep in mind too, your first couple deals, could they be deals? Absolutely. That would be fantastic. But try not to focus on messing up the deals. Just focus on learning. So don't worry if this agent says no or something gets messed up, because you're going to learn from that and you're not going to make the mistake on the next one. The more leads that you can get, the less you're going to stress out about specific deals. I'm just giving you that because that was my experience, right? I used to freak out about deals and think it was going to be the only deal in the world. The reality is, if you go on Facebook right now, there's somebody posting a sub 2 deal for assignment every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes. So they're out there, if one gets lost, move to the next one, keep it rolling, and just let me know what I can do to be helpful.
All right, man.
Cool, man.
Sound good.
All right, brother.
Do you mainly do sub 2?
Yeah, pretty much 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Thanks for calling back.
Absolutely, man. Good luck with it.
All right.
All right.
Talk
Bye-bye.
later. Bye.
So that wasn't an agent or a seller. That was actually somebody that was looking for some help closing a deal, which is another thing that we do, is just help other people close sub 2 deals, because we've done so many, or I don't know, there's plenty of people that have done more than us, but we've done enough deals where we can be helpful to other people and help them close their first deals, especially when there's questions they may not know how to answer, or as you'll see, a lot of people just don't have the confidence to make the phone calls and actually, hold a good conversation. So that was just a JV deal that we could be helpful with. I'm trying to get better about just like filming this stuff, because I keep saying that I don't do anything all day, but this is literally what I do all day, is just make phone calls, talk to people, make offers. That's kind of the job now. So I'm gonna make a couple cold calls just so you guys can hopefully I get somebody to answer, so you can see how I approach these conversations. I think it's a lot different than maybe what you've seen other people do on their conversations. So I'm gonna give it a shot here and see what we can do.
Alexandra speaking.
Hey Alexandra, this is Ryan. How are you?
All right. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Florida. I'm calling about your listing on Division Street.
Yeah, we're not doing subject to or low cash offers.
Okay.
So get phone on that all day long.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just calling to ask a couple questions about the property. Did you have a minute?
Sure. Are you doing conventional VA or FHA loans or cash that is full price or no?
That would be the goal.
Okay, go ahead. Ask me questions.
Yeah, so looking at it as an investment property, wanted to get your opinion on how it would do as a rental.
I think you can get about $1,500 a month.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's worth it. You know, if you're getting a mortgage, it's not going to be worth it because of the rates being so high. So I don't know if that would work for you.
Got it. Okay, 1,500. Is there restrictions with the HOA or anything like that?
No, there's no HOA.
No HOA. Okay, so there might be opportunity to rent it out and make some more money doing something else with it, maybe?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, if you're thinking like an Airbnb, I'm not, you know. Are you familiar with the area?
Yeah, I am. We live not far away. Yep. Okay, so 1,500 potentially long term. What about the property itself? What's the condition looking like? Everything good to go?
It's good. Yeah, last owner had done quite a bit to it, and then this owner added more to it, so it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. There's nothing with the house itself that's causing them to move or anything like that.
No, he's just transferring out of the area.
Got it. Okay. What's the timeline then? Are they already out of there, or are we waiting to make the sale?
They're still there. He's not leaving until it sells. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So he's ready. Like if we were to close in 2 weeks, he'd be ready to go.
Yeah, he'd be ready to go.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, that being said, are they pretty stuck at the 275?
We are at 255 right now, and that he just dropped the 20,000, and that's going to put him on bringing to closing $25,000.
Okay, so is it a short sale?
It's not a short sale. He's paying on time his mortgage. He's just wanted to be out, so that's why he dropped it to the 255.
255. Gotcha. And he's gonna come to the table with 25,000 at 255.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And what would your commission be at for that?
Well, I charge him the commission, so you don't have to worry about that part.
Gotcha.
But I charge 6%. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if everything else looks good on it, then I'll go ahead and take a look. Like you said, I don't think it's going to make sense with the regular rental numbers, but I'll take a look. We have property management in the area. I'm going to talk to them and see if we have any other options that might be able to make more sense to come up to a 255 for a conventional.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Not a problem.
Awesome.
Let me know if you need it.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Alexandra. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
No problem. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cool. Another great phone call because are you sensing a theme? Everybody picks up and immediately says, no subject to, and that's fine. It's because everybody's approaching them with subject to and not understanding the situation. I don't do that. I just get on the phone, ask them some questions, figure out if it's a rental, because here's the crazy thing. If it does work out as a conventional rental, then we can consider doing that. It's not that it has to be a subject to. We'll come in and do cash, right? They say no subject to, and it turns out that they're willing to just take a cash offer that makes sense. Perfect. That works great too. So that's the approach that I like to take. You can see again, she tried to shut me down in the first 2 seconds. She was very guarded. She said, she asked 3 times what type of offer I was going to make on the property. Push through. Just push through that. Keep rolling. Roll to the next thing. There's plenty of options that we have for rentals, and I like to get through that and actually understand the situation because people don't realize that situations change. So I just want to understand the pillars, the 4 pillars of the house, the situation that they currently are in, so that I know if she says, his transfer is in February, but he's not willing to take subject to, then I'm probably going to call back in February when he still hasn't sold the house and now he's making 2 mortgage payments and things are looking a little different. But I will say, I've never heard somebody that says they dropped the price to the point where they're going to pay $25,000 out of pocket to sell the property. That is intriguing. And the fact that the agent thinks they're going to make 6% on that, which don't even get me started on how entitled agents think they are to percentages when all they do is keep them from selling their house. But we'll leave that for another day. Let's get some notes down here. I had a nice little one with Seth. All right, I called this number and they didn't pick up, and then they said, call me back.
You've reached Seth Smith.
I'm not going to double dial Seth because I just double dialed him and he texted me and said he was showing a property but that I could call back later. Apparently this doesn't count as later, so I will move on. For now, we're going to call Jessica.
Jessica.
Hey Jessica, this is Ryan. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm calling about your listing on Charleston Square.
Okay.
Just had a couple questions. Is now a good time?
Sure.
Cool. Looking at it as a possible rental, so I wanted to get your expert opinion on how it would do as a rental in there.
It would do fine. I do have to just ask really quick. Like, are you an agent or like?
Nope, not an agent, just an investor.
Okay.
Yep.
I do want to let you know that we're really close to the bottom line. Like,
Okay.
literally, like that, they bought it for like a year and a half, 2 years ago. They need to pay off their mortgage. So I'm not trying to be rude at all. I've had so many calls from like these, we'll take over your mortgage or we're going to offer you like, 2-4, like something crazy. So if you're not willing to like offer like close to where we're at for the asking price right now, then it would literally be a waste of your time and mine.
Totally understood. My goal would be to pay full price if we can. That's why I wanted to check on the rental numbers and kind of get some info on the house so that I can make sure that I can go back and make an informed underwrite on this one and see if we can't come up to, it's $289, right now, the listing price?
Actually, we have it at $280.
$280, okay. Let me fix that, $280. Okay, so $280 is our goal price. What's going on with the property? Any issues?
No, it needs some cosmetic updates, and it will need a new roof in the near future. So I think that's been the holdup on getting it under contract. But that's pretty much it. Other than some cosmetic updates. But if it is a rental, I don't think you have to come in there and got everything. But I don't know.
What's the vibe with the roof? Is it just that it's old, or is there actual leaks or issues?
There's no leaks. It's just 2004.
Copy that. So it's just about that time.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. When you say cosmetic, are we talking like paint or holes in the wall?
No, we're just talking dated. So the house was built in the 80s, so it's got an 80s kitchen, it's got 80s bathrooms. There's no carpet in the place, but, based on the aesthetics that some people want, someone might want a more updated kitchen and bathrooms.
Got it. Totally makes sense. All right. Price, obviously, we're pretty stuck there. What's the timeline look like? Are they already out of there, or are they waiting to sell it?
No, they're out. It's vacant and ready to go.
Vacant. Okay, cool. So quick close is totally doable here.
Yep.
We've got the price. Let's see if I need to know anything else. Is there an HOA or anything like that?
No HOA.
Okay, so we're pretty flexible. We might be able to do like a shorter term thing potentially, like for rentals.
No, you can't do short term there. It's only residential, so you'd have to do I think it's.
There's like a minimum monthly?
It might, yeah. It's probably like the rest of Ormond because that's not unincorporated. You're in Ormond there, so it's probably monthly.
Yeah. Okay. You think? Well, I can dig into it more. I'm curious if it's 1 month minimum or like 1 year minimum.
I think it's 1 month. Most of Ormond is like that, but I know that they don't like short-term rentals in the residential area, so. It might be more of a traditional renter in that neighborhood. Yeah,
that's what I'm curious. The 1 month, sometimes what we do is we'll have like traveling nurses come stay in them if it's 1 month minimum. So I'd be curious if that would work because that might help us bump our purchase price closer to the 280. But I can dig into that more.
Okay.
Anything else with the property, the roof and the cosmetic? Any other issues or anything I would need to know?
Nope. Other than that, that's it. It's a great house. It's
cool.
Just, yeah.
All right, we're shooting for the stars. We're going for max price. I'll do some underwriting, and I know it's Friday afternoon, so maybe get back to you tomorrow or maybe Monday if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Cool. Appreciate it, Jessica. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love friendly agents. So easy to talk to. Of course, she had to try and shut down the call right away and say if you're an investor, we can't take a lowball offer. Again, some people Like, I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. I'm just saying this is what I do. Some people are going to disqualify all of those and be like, oh, just disqualify and hang up and get more volume. It seems like that's a good way to do it, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for doing what I do. But I just like to stay on the phone with them and actually understand the situation. So I just push through it. We know that they are at their bottom line. And what else did we get? Which, again, the point is that I like to push through that stuff because there's information that I gather that nobody else is gathering because they're letting themselves get shut down and they're getting butthurt or whatever and hanging up the phone way too soon. So if you were listening closely, the most important thing we heard is that the property is vacant and they've already left. So what does that mean? It means unless they're living under a rock or living in a tent, they are paying 2 mortgages right now, or rent and a mortgage, whatever it is. They're paying at least 2 because this house is vacant and it still has a mortgage of $250-something thousand on the property. So that equals paying. All right, there's 2 options. If they're in a bad situation, that might mean that they're not paying the mortgage. Now that I think about it, I probably could have asked her that question, but whoops. Anyways, so they may not be paying the mortgage. Usually people will tell me that and I don't have to remember, so hopefully that's not the case. But if that's not the case, that means they are paying the mortgage and they're paying another mortgage. And for the first month, they might be able to say, oh yeah, you know, we can afford to pay an extra $2,500 to keep this house because we got to sell it, right? But guess what? Next month, that's going to be a little bit tougher. The month after that, it's going to get really tough. And at some point, they're going to either freak out and be like, I cannot afford to pay this anymore. I need to sell this house by any means necessary, which is when I'm going to come in and say, yo, remember that phone call we had where I was really friendly and wasn't like everybody else? Sell me your house. Or they're going to stop making payments and they're going to stack up arrears, in which case I'm still going to call them back and I'm going to say, yo, I tried to help you guys before you screwed your credit, but it's too late now, so let's work backwards and at least try and solve the problem. So, so that's why I fight through on those phone calls. I take those notes, we put them into our CRM, we make follow-up text messages. Hey, what's going on? Anything changed? House sell? Whatever. And we keep them in there and we follow up with them and we get deals that way. So hopefully that was a super helpful video. I feel like I did a lot of different crap. I called some warm leads, called some cold leads, talked to a JV lead, talked to the camera. All good stuff, right? All good stuff. Goal is just for me to do more of recording what I'm doing and talk about it and just documenting the journey, documenting what I'm up to. I think I had some really good phone calls in there, right? I had a guy that was really friendly and then all of a sudden he freaked out and went on a rant and then just hung up before I could even say sorry. So that was cool. I also had somebody that shut me down and by the end of the phone call, she was ready to set up a call and sell their house to me. So a little bit of everything in between. This is me talking with agents. Not everybody calls agents. Calling sellers directly is another great way to do things. It's just not what I'm doing right now. I don't know, maybe nobody else thinks I'm good at it, but I feel like I'm at least decent at talking to agents after the amount of deals we've done with them, and we have experience. And so right now I'm just leaning into that and helping other people like our JV partners lean into that as well so that they can close deals. So that's the goal. Hopefully this was helpful. I appreciate it. If you haven't already checked out some of my other calls, there's a whole playlist of me making phone calls like this where I overcome specific objections. And until next time, appreciate it.